This thing came out last year like a Miley Cyrus wrecking ball. This is the Bar V, but previously was only available on a bigger, heavier, more expensive camper. And now it's in an RV that is smaller and lighter than ever, and even has a totally private front bedroom. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at Coachmen today, taking a look at some new nano models in this little, what's this, 216RKS, something like that. It's very similar in concept to like an Imagine 23 LDE, but it's smaller and lighter already by default. But because it's a 7.5 foot wide narrow body, they wanted to find a way to regain some of that space. So they went with a campsite dining bar, and then they upgraded it the next level up with their Bar V concept, where it has the taco truck pass-through food window, which does have a bug screen, by the way, so you don't have to, make the choice of one versus the other. But it has a little outdoor television entertainment, little bar top tabletop area with a little griddle combo right beside it right here, all wrapped up into a small, I think that a half ton should be able to jerk around just very, very easily. Now, this is one of the earlier, I don't know if it's in production or if it's a late prototype or what this is, but they have recognized that in the Nano family, their roof structure doesn't allow them to do a centralized air. So they are working on a way, I don't know the exact execution that it will have, but they're working on a way to have at least an optional like maybe second air conditioner or something in the bedroom. So when you watch this footage, if you're looking at it like no air in the bedroom, what a bunch of idiots. No, they're aware and they're going to be fixing that, or at least offering you the option. So keep that in mind. We have an enclosed underbelly. It's not super heavy. It's not super long. It is on tandem axles, which is nice. Some pretty decent kitchen space in this overall. It is a step up slide out, which does prevent a true theater seat or hide-a-bed. So it is a jackknife sofa, but they've given it recliner style kick out incliners to kick your feet up if you want to. So it's a cool solo couples retreat, but it's also a small, friendly little entertainment party space, which is a really weird but fun combo.
And when I was trying to figure out, like, where do I start recording this in more detail here, I realized I think one of the best places is just right over here at the sofa. This is the little party entertainment area, and it overlooks all of the main focal point action of the RV. Now, it's interesting. It actually has a standard outdoor TV, but not indoor, but you're kind of prepped and ready for that. I guess you could always bring the outdoor TV inside if you don't mind, like, moving it, but that's less fun. But this right here, instead of your traditional booth dinette, which just is a floor space hog, and there's a lot of people who have no use for a traditional dinette, they went with the little campsite dining bar. And that is one of those kind of pass-through windows. But if you kind of look quickly, or closely, it might look a little funny because it does thankfully have a full, like, pull-down bug screen. I also really like the little indirect light above it right there. It's just nice, cool, fun little touches. Now, working our way around right here, the window coverage in this, considering the size of the RV, is pretty good. Like, I'm very happy with that. Now, the entry door does not factory include a privacy shade, but that is available. Something I do like from the factory, though, is that big XL vent fan there, because if you are going to be boondocking or something, having a way on a 12-volt source to move air around is nice. Now, this up here, people either love this or they hate this. So you might be glad to know this is an optional item, the Stargazer skylight right here. Now, right now, I've got it straight open air for max airflow because it's a little roasty toasty in here. If you want airflow, but you want to like keep the bugs out or something, you can do that too. And if you want to close it and, blot the sun out, you can do that too. Now, here's the thing. That is not a traditional window. That is one of those Euro... I don't know if that's Lexan or acrylic, but basically it is a hollow, true dual pane window, and it has minimum 2.5 times better insulative R value qualities, even as compared to the quote unquote thermal pane RV windows that are out there in the towable industry. So it's going to be something that is going to be far better suited toward keeping you a little more comfortable. Now, for no bigger than this is, I think the kitchen is respectable. And I think that's the most you could really hope for out of a trailer this size. But that is an 8 cubic foot, 12 volt compressor fridge. The RV now has 400 watts of solar to power that when you are not tethered into park power. I also just found the mother load of drinking water. So I'm going to get that shut here in just a moment because I would like me a nice ice cold water in a second here. The cabinetry is all pocket screwed and lumber core, which is a normal thing to talk about, but not as common in these little campers back here. Now, that is one of those like air fryer, microwave, wombo combos down there. You might look at this though and say, man, they really wasted a bunch of space right along the bottom. They didn't. I think maybe your furnace is back there or water pump or something. Your water heater is back there. So where there's panels blocked off, there's stuff in there that you can't use. I think the 2-burner north-south stovetop was a good decision, but like every manufacturer, they don't put, well, not every, there's a couple, but like most manufacturers, they don't put any sort of side splash there. I don't think that sink cover is like fire rated to be that close. So I'm not trying to represent that as a viable side splash. I was mostly just getting it out of the way. I just want clarity on that. I don't want somebody to accidentally catch fire or mess it up just because, well, I saw the nerd put it on camera like that. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. This over here though, like I was like, the kitchen doesn't really have a pantry. And then I realized it does. And I thought, the kitchen doesn't really have a lot of countertop prep space, but you can use the dining bar that way. And considering it's basically a couple's camper, if one of you is doing some cooking, at least 50% of this is going to be available. The person who's not the campsite cook, tell them to sit over there and leave your campsite space available, or your prep space available. I don't know. I think that could work. Now, right now we're looking at the normal GE profile air conditioner that they use on these. I'm going to talk more about that in the bedroom, but they are exploring some new air conditioning solutions on this floor plan that you're going to be very glad they do. Now, because the RV is lightweight and runs on a smaller chassis, the wheels stick up above the floor level. So they build over it with the slide box. I wanted to lift this up so you could see the slide. The sofa is actually like floating above the main floor. So it's not a true theater seat, nor is there an option for it. That can fold down into a small sleeper, but I do stress small. That's a kid sleeper or a big dog sleeper. But the only time an adult's going to sleep on that is if they've had too many things to drink or if they got in trouble by their wife. Over here, this has a little portable Bluetooth speaker system. I want to give the Salem Wildwood FSX division kind of credit for really sort of pioneering that in the RV industry. Instead of wiring in a whole bunch of speakers, they give you a speaker that you can move around. And in the front passenger compartment of the RV, the solar charge controller has a USB plug where you could keep it plugged in and charge it up and rocking all day long effectively. Now, this has a walk-through middle bathroom, which creates some very good privacy for the bedroom and bathroom. The legroom here was enough. I've seen worse. The shoulder elbow room is absolutely awesome. We do have a full surround panel, for the shower here, but the RV is only 6.5 foot to the sidewall. So when you're like me, you're a little over 6 feet, you step in the shower, man, I am cooking my cranium up in that skylight right there. Now in the kitchen living room area, you have the bigger vent fan. But here in the bathroom, we do have the smaller fan. If you're interested in upgrading that, a lot of people like to use the word Max Air, and Max Air is an awesome variety of fan. Absolutely. But they're also expensive. You can get about 90% of the same airflow for about 20% of the cost with a type of fan called a Hangs Vortex, Hengs. I am not sponsored by Hangs. I don't do sponsored content. I have no problem with people that do, but I don't do it. And it's just a product that I've used. It's easy to install, it's less invasive, and it works great, essentially. Now, take a look over on the left here. The bathroom storage is amazing. And there was a brief moment I thought to myself, I want to criticize them for putting a shelf under the sink because now you don't have a spot for a wastebasket. But then I thought about it, and I think that would actually be my towel and linen space. So I think with what they had available, they did as good as they could. And there's some very respectable counter space in this little camper's shockingly big bathroom. Now this, I walked in immediately and went, oh my gosh, there's no air conditioning airflow like up to the bedroom. And I immediately stopped because I wasn't even going to record this. And I went over to the Apex guys. I'm like, are you aware? And they said, we're already well aware of it. The Apex rep for the Southeast was like, man, people, they'll die of heat stroke in this bedroom if we don't figure something out. What it will end up looking like, they don't know yet. So they're considering offering a 50 amp option, a second air option. One of my ideas is I thought, what if we had like two 8K airs or two 11K airs that could still run on 30 amp service, but give me the ability to have more airflow in different areas. I like that idea, but we'll have to see what they come up with. But I also appreciate like fully enclosed storage above the bed. Now there is a little bit of a flat panel pocket in the middle. I don't love that. It's small enough I can work around it though, but I got long arms, so that might not work for somebody else. Some people say, man, I need spot to hang clothes. And some people go, I don't hang clothes when I go camping. Everything's folded up and wadded up, so they give you a removable shelf. You get to kind of pick whatever you want. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Camp Queen mattress, but if I'm looking at this, I think there's room here. I think you could put a True Queen in it if you wanted to. If you do that, you're going to be butt scoop boogieing around the bed a little bit more, but I think it could be done. Now, your power outlets are on the bedside bases on both sides of the bed, and I did notice, looks like the Nanos are upgrading from the old conventional pleated shades to the newer like blackout roller shades. Now, whoop, I'm tripping over chairs. What I'm not sure about is how the travel access is going to work, because I'm not sure if that sofa is going to allow the bathroom door to open. Okay, well, whether they meant to or not, this worked out fairly fine right here. And that got me looking, where's the fuse box? Well, it's down here where it's easily accessible. The slide doesn't block it off. So front to back to front again, you can easily navigate this RV without ever touching the slide. That's actually kind of handy. And it does sort of beg the question, does this RV even need a slide? But the interaction that you're going to have with the chairs stacked on top of one another, I think you're going to hate it if it does. Like, in theory, like, no, I guess I don't need a slide. I think in function, you probably kind of still want one. But if you appreciate the extra time we take to show you the storage and the road mode, drop me little notes to say thanks, nerd, or like, just subscribe if you're new to us, and know that we'll do this for you every time we can.
Okay, so a couple quick notes here. First of all, the towing weights and measures and dimensions and everything again. A full max weight of 6,000 pounds, and the short length of this thing, well, in comparison to most American travel trailers, by European standards, this is a behemoth monstrosity. But this should work for not just half tons, but there's going to be some larger tow package SUVs that could do the trick here. Some people might say, hey, wait a minute. I got the full package Ford freaking Ranger. This is within my tow rating. It still feels big enough that I'm not really comfortable with that myself. I guess you roll the dice and full send it, brother, if that's how you feel. Now, this is an all aluminum welded cage laminated structure. You have double Asdel sidewalls, and as we saw in our little floor plan in a flash footage, they now have a standard 400-watt solar package. It's still a 30-amp controller, but instead of saying, well, you could add a second panel after the fact, they went ahead and just did it. And my understanding from talking to a lot of people, assuming you have decent weather, is 400 watts is really about the point that you can offset that 12-volt compressor fridge for the most part. Otherwise, it's a little bit hit and miss. So they're just taking a lot of the guesswork out of this thing. It is a manual tongue jack in the Nano series, but tongue jacks can be replaced easily. It's a couple extra bucks, yes, but if that's the only thing you need, you're like, man, if this had a tongue jack, I'd have been sold. You call our team. We got guys with wrenches. We can slap a tongue jack on this thing. That's not hard. I noticed that they have the magnet holdbacks, but it is still the conventional twist lock butterfly latches. Very solid front pass-through capacity on this. That black box on the right, that is your solar charge controller. That's at a very good easy service access location. It also has a USB plug plug on the side of it. So if you want to, you know, charge your phone outside or have a little Bluetooth speaker or something rolling, you can just keep that party rolling. It's very, very handy. The little griddle comes equipped with this one. It's not a griddle with a side table. The griddle sits on top of the side table, or you could get your own picnic table and take the griddle off there, or not use the griddle at all. But you, no matter what, have the gas grill quick connect. Also, I really appreciate that Apex actually bothered hooking up that propane line. Normally that doesn't happen. I don't tend to do it myself a lot for time reasons, but if I was a manufacturer setting up a display, I would want to do that. Now out here, this here, Clark, is the Bar V. It is the RV bar kind of area. Now you do have this obviously flip up window. There is the drop bug screen there as well. Down below, you just have a couple more handy power outlets in that upper right pocket, some just generic storage space in the bottom right, and then over here, you have your outdoor entertainment. It's kind of interesting. The RV comes with an outdoor entertainment by default, but not indoor. Kind of tells you the focal point of the camper. If you wanted to, it's easy to add a second TV or potentially float that TV, depending on what you felt like. Now, I don't think these stools are included. I think they're just kind of out here for display. This thing has some really solid awning space given the size of the RV. And working our way around here, something I always like to be just candid and open about is the glass entry door. This thing, it looks really cool, but they get really screaming hot to the touch. And I want to introduce you to a couple people. Come on over here, Tyler. So this is Max. Max is kind of Mr. Apex right here. And this guy right here, this is Tyler. Now with my microphone, they're not going to hear you guys very much. But do me a favor, sit over here at the Bar V so they can get a size demo. Now, Tyler is what I call one of the boys. And we are some American-sized Michigan folks. And I think that if a couple real American-sized fellas can sit here and enjoy it comfortably, and depending on the chairs, you might have more or less leg room. So keep in mind, you know, the stools that they're using kind of determine their seating height. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, how's it feel? For real? Like, no joke, no fooling. All right, cool. All right, well, thank you guys. I'm going to now send your pictures to the FBI. You're done. On the back here, we have our tankless on-demand water heater. And Tyler, by the way, that fell in the light blue shirt, he's one of our sales managers at my home store there in Coldwater, Michigan. So if you swing through, if I'm not around, say hi. We'll say hi to Tyler regardless. I appreciate that the spare tire is easy to access. And the rear bumper back here, actually, below that, there's some brackets where if you want to add a rear receiver hitch for a bike rack or maybe bring a generator with you, you can do that. Now, another little detail, if we look at the very top, they've got that Stargazer skylight. The way this one opens, like, you really want that thing closed for transit, obviously. But if you do happen to leave it open, it's not facing the other way where wind resistance would basically effectively rip the sucker off of there. But obviously the best part of this is you can just be like, beer me! And, you know, they pass you out the Silver Bullet Cold Coors Light or something like that, but you get the idea. Or an apple pie. I don't know your life, but this is fun. And to me, camping's supposed to be about fun. And like so much of the marketing in the industry, I swear, is like, you should buy this, you should buy this, you should buy this. It's like, yeah, but camping's supposed to be about people. It's supposed to be about having fun, connection, making memories. And to me, that's what this concept is right here. I'll drop you links in the description to double check pricing and availability. And when you're ready, we're ready. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.